everyone. Happy Tuesday, Yom Shlishi. We are in Parshat Shemot, the second of the 5 books of Moses. In today's portion, Moses is already grown up. He had grown up in the palace in Egypt. And he goes and sees the suffering of his brothers, which is a very important point, because Moshe is the greatest, reached heights that no one else could ever reach, nor has ever reached, not the kings of Israel, not the prophets of Israel. That's his key model, is that he sees the suffering of his brothers. And he sees two people, two Jews. He sees two Jews of his brothers. They're fighting with each other. This is the second thing. The first day he saw an Egyptian hitting one of his brothers, and he kills the Egyptian and he buries him in the sand. But on the second day, he sees two of his own Jewish brothers fighting with each other. And the verse says, "Vayomer larasha lama takereyecha." He says to the Rasha, to the evil one, "Lama takereyecha." Why are you hitting your brother? And then he responds to Moses, "Mi samecha leish sarav shofet aleinu." Who made you to be judge over us? Halahargeni ata omer. Are you saying you're going to kill me like you killed the Egyptian last time? And then Moses became afraid that the matter is known. And he runs away, and then he is taken in by Kohen Midian, and eventually he marries Tzipporah. So the question is, why does the verse go out of its way to call one the Rasha, the evil one, the wicked one? It could just say, Vayomer el echad mihem, or something like that. He says to one of them, Moses says to one of them, why are you hitting your brother? Why does the verse say, Vayomer larasha? He said to the wicked one, why are you hitting your brother? So in general, in Judaism, we have this principle of ein shoklim ba'avonotu b'zchuyot shel bnei adam ela kel deot. It's the line out of the Rambam. We are not calculating the merits and demerits, the good things and the iniquities of human beings. Ela el deot, rather only the omniscient one. Only God does these calculations. And so therefore, to quote the great and late of blessed memory, Rabbi Jonathan Sachs, Rav Dr. Lord Sir Dr. Rabbi Jonathan Sachs, he said we should be very slow to judge people, be very, very slow to judge others. Because if they deserve it, then God will be judging them anyways. And if they don't deserve it, and you're judging them, then God is going to be judging you for judging them. So be very slow to judge others. If they deserve it, God will judge them. If they don't deserve it, then God will judge you. That's what Rabbi Jonathan Sachs said. So in principle, we have this principle in Judaism, we don't really judge people. However, in halachic debates, we always judge actions, certain actions, what level of transgression, what level of punishment, whether punishment that can be given out in a human court, or there's punishments in heavenly courts, and there's different types of punishments at different severity levels of sins. We have hereg, chenek, sreifa, skila, all different ways of death penalty that also tell us what sins are worth and what mitzvahs are worth. But then we don't calculate. And still, because we know which one is more severe than the other one, it helps us understand the legal system of the Torah's ethics, or ethical law, which the Torah gives us. And yet we don't use it to calculate a person's worth. Ein shoklim ba'avonot b'zchuyot shel bnei adam ela kel deot. However, here the verse goes out of its way to call one a Russia. So it's a very big question. Why is one called the Russia? There are many answers. And one of the answers, it's in the Gemaras. Reish Lakish says this in Sanhedrin Nun Chet Amud Bet in 58b of the tractate Sanhedrin, that by definition, if two Jews are fighting, that happens. Jews will fight with each other. We have different opinions. We have different stances on many topics and many issues. But the moment you take your hand and you inflict pain upon your fellow Jew, that makes you a Russia. It's Nikra Russia. Which brings me finally to the point of certain sects that broke off from Satmar, and the Satmar Rebbe denounced them, that are really rallying and supporting the death of fellow Jews. This is a very serious problem. It's a very, very serious problem. And so it's not me calling them a Russia if you support the deaths of your fellow Jews. The Torah itself calls you a Russia. So remember, the basic point is that we are all connected, every single Jewish neshama, and whether you are a Russia, a wicked person, or a tov, or a good person, it's not something for us to calculate, really, except for one example. When you are actively hurting your fellow Jews, then that is called Russia. We need to do tshuva for those kinds of things. Anyways, have a wonderful Shabbos. I'll see you the next time.